there, Mavericks. This is Rob Reinhold. It is March 21st, 2023. We are one day off from the Fed meeting, so let's jump into what happened today. Let's take a look at where we were just 24 hours ago on our currency board. So we had Bitcoin showing some good strength, and the rest of the cryptos are right in the middle. We had Swiss franc was showing a little bit of weakness, and really everything else was pretty much in the middle. We got a really good risk-on day today. We had the equities rally all day and close on the highs. We'll take a look at all the charts here in a second. We heard from Janet Yellen in the morning, and she said the Fed is going to backstop more bank deposits. There is a federal insurance for $250,000 on everyone's bank accounts, and past that, you are theoretically not insured. However, in this last bank crisis, they came in and basically said, look, those don't apply. The federal government will backstop all the deposits. So when she came out and said this, it really calmed down all of the bank fears. So we see here we had the S&P rally all day long, closed up at 1.3%. So did the VT. Crypto had a very nice reversal. It was down earlier and reversed very nicely. Gold got crushed, and oil was down 2% earlier in the day and recovered and actually closed up positive. Now I want to take a look at the S&P chart because I really want to point out how important this candle is. We were in this what's called a bull flag pattern. Whenever something has a big uptrend, and then it has a very shallow downtrend, this is called a bull flag. So it is a little downtrend in here, but you can see it's not that deep. On a breakout, these are fantastic buy points. So we are right there. We're right there, and another up candle tomorrow will cement this as a nice bull flag breakout, and you want to get more bullish on everything. If we take a look at the VT, we're seeing pretty much the same thing. We are right up at the top of that channel. Breakout above that would be very bullish for world equities. Coming back here to take a look at crypto, if we take out just a couple of candles here, let's say that we were in a coma, we were asleep for this, cryptos haven't gone anywhere for the last 2 months. We are right up against major resistance. However, look at this. Tried it once, twice, a little bit yesterday. We're getting some attempts, just like we did over here. At some point, I think this is going to break through. If the equity markets rally tomorrow and the Fed comes out and doesn't kill the market, I fully expect that cryptocurrencies will break out to the next level and have a nice little run. So for the first time in a while, I actually really like the cryptos here. If we take a look at the performance today, we see that the cryptos all did well. Litecoin was the worst performer before this, turned out to be the best performer. But really, Ethereum is showing some good strength. And Bitcoin, where yes, I know it only went up 1.2%, it has been the winner over the last couple of weeks. If we go to the foreign currencies, we see Euro, Swiss franc. This is where we've seen a lot of strength. We like Euro. We've liked it for a little bit, and we continue to like it. We talked about Euro dollar. Now, that was a good trade. It wasn't the best trade you could have made. The best trade you could have made would have been something like Euro yen or Swiss franc yen. That would have been the best trade today. But again, everything up very strong in the Euro area. Look at that weakness in yen. I think this is what we're going to continue to see if we break out higher after the Fed tomorrow. So we've been at a -1, which has been a slightly bearish outlook on equities. Now, if you take a look at the chart, we are back up above moving averages. We are above the 20. We're running our head into the 50. We're right between moving averages. So we're going to have to raise our -1 up to a 0. That's just where we are right now. With another green candle tomorrow, where we close above the 50-day moving average, we're going to have to get more bullish. We're going to have to say, hey, you know what? The market's telling us that it wants to go higher, so we're going to have to get on board and get a little bit more bullish in our outlook. Let's take a look at the calendar, and really the only thing that jumps out to me is tomorrow's Fed statement. The Fed statement tomorrow is a big deal. So let's talk about what the Fed's likely going to say. Expectations are that they raise 25 basis points. The question is, has the bank runs and the bank failures, has that scared the Fed enough to where they're going to suddenly say, we're not raising rates anymore? Not really. The inflation numbers have come out way too hot. I think the Fed, to maintain credibility, has to raise 25 basis points. And the market is expecting it. So I think we get that raise. The big question is, what does Chairman Powell say after that? do they say that they're going to keep raising rates and that they don't think that the bank failures are that big of a deal? I think that's pretty reckless for them to say. I think that they come out, do 25, and they say that they are worried and watching, but they're also worried and watching the inflation numbers, and from here on out, they're going to be data dependent. Now, that's actually going to be bullish for the market, because before this, the market has thought that the Fed was going to raise 3 more times. At this point, the Fed they're going to come out and say, we're not sure what we're going to do yet. If the Fed comes out and says that, I think we do get that breakout higher in equities. So that is going to be the big meeting. We are meeting live as a firm to trade that report together. So if you can join us during that report, come join us if you're one of our traders. Right, let's take a look at all the currencies one by one. First up, I want to start with the cryptos. So here's Bitcoin. Now I'm looking at a 4-hour chart, and I've got our 3 velocity scores in here. I've got a 13 EMA, I've got parabolic SAR, and I've got an RSI. We can see the huge bottom we made on the 10th of March. And we can see we've rocketed from 20,000 up to 28,000. That's a 20% return. Take a look at these candles here recently. This is a high base. This is a very, very strong high base, and actually it's creeping higher and higher and higher. I think we're likely to stay in this base until the Fed meeting tomorrow. So I don't like any trades here on Bitcoin or really anything until we get the Fed tomorrow. But this is really poised for a breakout higher. We take a look at Bitcoin Cash. It does not look as strong. So again, we're looking for relative strength and weakness. If I'm looking to buy the strongest one, it's not Bitcoin Cash. Is it Ethereum? Well, Ethereum is also looking strong. So I think you can look at Bitcoin, or you can take a look at Ethereum and say, these are the ones you want to take a look at buying. We take a look at Litecoin, we can see it's just not as strong. So tomorrow, I think the only cryptos I'm going to be looking to play are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's jump over to the dollar, because this is the wild card. The dollar is going to move the most off of the Fed report tomorrow. And you can see we were in a clear uptrend for a while. And then over the last couple of weeks, we've started this kind of lazy downtrend here. We aren't breaking any critical levels. So that's the one thing I want to point out, is that, we've got some support down here. We had a big run and we're having a small pullback. We'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. I am like 50-50 on the dollar, meaning I don't know what's going to happen. And whenever I have no clue and no premise, it just tells me don't trade it. Hey, if you don't have a clue, don't trade it. Look for something else. Let's take a look at some other currencies here. So this here is the yen. Now the yen has been in a nice uptrend. We've had a big move up since the beginning of March. This is mostly from the risk-off sentiment. Again, we've had lots of panic, lots of worrying about banks. People flood into the yen. Now that's unwinding. I think the yen looks like a really good short, and we can see we're starting to see some of the things we like. We have an EMA that's starting to slope downward. We have an RSI that's just about to go below 50. Look, this is very early. I'm not ready to short yen here in the next, let's call it 18 hours. However, after the Fed meeting, if we get a bullish move, the first thing I'm looking to is short yen. I like short yen quite a bit. The euro has been the strongest currency of late, and you can see we have broken out into new highs. So the euro is deserving of a very high score. We had a big run. This is the euro basket, equally weighted against 7 other currencies. Look, we've had a big run. We probably need to take a pause. I think we're, again, flat like everything until the Fed meeting tomorrow. I'm looking to trade euro to the long side if we get that kind of move. Now, right now, we are seeing the yen and the dollar as being very negatively correlated. For example, today, dollar was up, yen was down. A couple of days ago, yen was up, dollar is down. So I do think dollar yen is going to be the best trade, but I also like euro dollar if you're looking to be short dollar. I think the euro is the strongest currency at the moment. Let's jump over here to the Swiss franc, because the Swiss franc was the best currency on the day. But let's take a look at where it is on the chart. So we had this big run in Swiss franc, and you can see that we've had this big pullback. until about 24 hours ago, you had to rank the Swiss franc as weak. It was weaker than the rest. We've now started to see a turn. We've seen a turn in the EMA. We've seen a turn in the RSI. Okay, to me, I'm not going to get all that excited with this one little jump. If we can consolidate or pull back a little bit and find some strength, I'll look at the Swiss franc. But until then, I'm pretty much looking at the euro only. Looking at the pound, let's look at it very quickly, and then let's basically say, okay, it's a little bit stronger, but right now it's flattening out. Everything's flattening out here on pound. So to me, it's like, yes, it is more strong than weak, but I'm not interested in it. Euro looks much better. Coming over here to the CAD, you see the CAD has been more weak than strong, but over the last couple of weeks, we've really just been going nowhere. So until the CAD does something to go somewhere, I can't look at it as a trend trade whatsoever. So CAD to me is a 0. We come over here to the Aussie, and the Aussie has been overall weak. You can see over the last month, we've been more sideways. If we take a look at all the numbers though, EMA is falling, RSI is falling. So it is, at the moment, more weak than strong, but it's clearly not breaking down anywhere. This is just in a range and it's fading down to the bottom of the range. Coming over here to the Kiwi, that's the question, okay, where's the Kiwi going? Does it look like it's going to break down? We had this big, huge fall all the way down to support. We're getting a little bounce here. At this point here, I can't short Kiwi. However, of all the currencies out there, I actually do think Kiwi looks the weakest. It is the one that is at the lowest point relative to where it's been over the last couple weeks. So for me, Kiwi does look shortable. Not yet. We're having a bounce here after, boy, what was this, 10 straight candles of selling. We're going to get a bounce. Let this bounce happen, or if it turns into be base, let it happen. So maybe later in the week, we can take a look at Kiwi short. But for right now, again, I'm looking for, let's track the movement we've seen over the past 24 hours. We have a couple currencies that have just gone nowhere, just gone to the middle. So let's just put those out of our mind here. They're not playable at the moment. The cryptos have moved, the euro has strengthened, and the cryptos have strengthened. So I think this is where the strength is in the market. We've seen the Swiss franc and the yen basically switch sides. The yen is the weakest, and the Aussie, okay, we'll put that here with the Kiwi. So right here, right now, over the next 24 hours, and again, this is before the Fed meeting, because the Fed meeting is going to change everything. It's going to change it all. So if you're looking to make a trade before the Fed meeting, I really think it's very easy. I'm taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum on the long side, and Euro, Yen on the long side as well. So let's take a look at those trades and let's build some setups around those points. So here we have Bitcoin. You can see we are sitting up here. We've got some resistance at about 28.5. 28.5 is this big resistance point. Here's the thing. I don't want to buy a breakout before the Fed meeting because I think it's likely to be a false breakout. I think we need to have some energy behind this. And if we just break out at some random moment, I don't think it's going to have any power behind it. So I'm thinking a breakout on the Fed meeting above 28.5 would be a really nice signal to be long Bitcoin. That being said, Fed meetings are very volatile and we typically get some wild moves. We get big moves up and then they'll retrace everything and fall to where it looks negative and then they'll recover. And then like an hour and a half later, you'll get the actual move that ends it for a couple of days. I don't think you want to be chasing things right after the announcement. Let things settle down. And if Bitcoin can hold above 28.5, I think it looks like a buy. Ethereum, we've got the point right up here at 1845. 1845, same thing here. I don't want to buy a breakout over the next 18 hours. I think any breakout that happens before the Fed meeting is going to have very weak energy behind it. So I'm not chasing these at all, but a breakout above 1845 after the Fed meeting, I'm definitely going to be interested. And the Forex trade I'm interested in the most is Euro Yen. That being said, when I take a look at the chart isn't really fantastic here. It's not great. We are getting some high basing action here. We had 2 candles up, 3 candles, so 12 hours of sideways. It's just not enough for me to be excited. So what I'm saying here is I'm not excited about any trades until after the Fed meeting. So I'm sitting on my hands for the next 18 hours. I'm not looking to make any trades until the Fed meeting. As I said earlier, we will be meeting live for the Fed meeting. So if you're one of our traders, come join us and we'll be making some live trades there. Other than that, thank you for joining me, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.